go. 24,420. We have the Series 1 6-box rando. I probably should have thrown the garbage before. Alright, we got a sizzle of Marchenko for the Jackets. Skarek Young Guns for the Islanders. And for Vegas, goal-oriented of Eichel. We got a Bustle Sparkle for Carolina of Jarvis. A canvas for Anaheim of Troy Terry. And a compositions of Monahan for the Blue Jackets. We got a Compadres for Florida. We got an Abels Young Guns for Philly. And for Utah, Keller compositions. Encore to Brinkat for the Red Wings. A Sizzle of Aho for Carolina. And a Gatcombe Islanders Young Guns. Leafs and Jays, I know. What a great night, eh? Dazzlers of Barkov for Florida. Stammer for Nashville Canvas. And a Nathan McKinnon, goal-oriented for the Avalanche. Outburst Silver for Seattle of Stevenson. Tracking Systems of Blackwood for the Avalanche. And a Cup Quest of Carlson for Pittsburgh. Canvas for the Avalanche of Colton. Quillen for the Maple Leafs Young Guns. And an Olmark for Ottawa portraits. Encore of Hudson for Montreal. Sizzle of Knives for the Leafs. And a Nashville Predators Young Guns of Kemmel. You think so, Derek? That's your call. Encore of Leonard for Washington. Composition Sparkle of Toffoli for San Jose. And a Bustle for Florida of Sam Reinhart. Cup Quest for Seattle of McCann. Sizzle of Wyatt Johnson for Dallas. And a portrait of Tage Thompson for Buffalo. Canvas of Will Smith for Sharks. Lev Shunov for Chicago Young Guns. And a compositions of Stutzel for Ottawa. Encore Blue of Kempe for LA. Encore for Utah of Keller. Tracking Systems of Gustafson for Minnesota. Well, they definitely looked pretty damn good yesterday, didn't they? Like, holy moly. So it makes you wonder, was it the nerves in the first couple games? Because they looked pretty damn strong yesterday. Like, good for them. We've got a Compadres for the Maple Leafs. Young Guns of Dorwart for Philadelphia. And a compositions for Vancouver of Quinn Hughes. Tracking System Sparkle of Ottinger for Dallas. Canvas for Florida of Barkov. Goal-oriented for Florida of Sam Reinhart. We got a Bustle for Nashville, Marchesso. Young Guns for the Rangers of Robertson. And a Cup Quest of Tage Thompson for Buffalo. Encore for Anaheim of Vetrano. Sizzle of Lehkonen for Colorado. And a Young Guns of Dvorsky for the Blues. Outburst Silver for the Oilers of Henrique. Sizzle of Kachuk for Florida. And a portrait of Leon Draisaitl for the Oilers. Dazzlers of Oslin for Buffalo. Voronkov for the Jackets canvas. And a portrait of Quinn Hughes for Vancouver. Canvas for the Red Wings of Raymond. Cagnoni Young Guns for the Sharks. And a compositions for the Islanders of Barzal. Encore of Taves for the Avs. Tracking Systems for the Rangers of Shesterkin. And a Melanson Young Guns for Seattle. Encore for the Chicago Blackhawks of Moore. Goal-oriented Sparkle Reinhardt for Florida. And a Hellebuck tracking systems for the Winnipeg Jets. That is sick. Young Guns Retro Outburst Red for the Maple Leafs of Hyman. Young Guns Retro out of 25, Hyman. Sweet. Compadres for Washington and a goal-oriented for Minnesota of Kaprizov. We got a canvas of Duclair for the Islanders. Young Guns of Brindamore for Carolina. Compositions of David Pasternak for Boston. Yeah, those are cool. Clear Cut Young Guns for the Blues of Dvorsky. Encore for Montreal Slavkovsky. And a Sizzle of Tippett for Philly. Sizzle. We've got a Sizzle for the Winnipeg Jets, Perfetti. Finley Young Guns for Tampa. And a Cup Quest of Nietzsche's for the Avs. We got a Bustle Sparkle for the Red Wings of Cider. Canvas of Pietrangelo for Vegas. And a Portraits for the Penguins of Evgeny Malkin. Encore for the Jackets of Werenski. Tracking systems for the Red Wings of Talbot. Leonard for Washington Young Guns. We got a Young Guns Outburst Silver of Cagnoni for San Jose. San Jose. Cagnoni. Bustle of Tippett for Philly, and a goal-oriented of Ovechkin for the Caps. We got a Compadres for the Rangers, Young Guns for the Oilers of Rodriguez, and a Cup Quest of Demko for Vancouver. Canvas of Sean Couturier for Philly. We got a Currens for Calgary Young Guns, and a Compositions of Makar for the Avs. Dazzlers for San Jose of Eklund. Canvas of Demko for the Canucks. And a Portraits of Laine for Montreal. Encore Bedard for Chicago. Portraits Sparkle of Makar for the Avs. And a Kemper tracking systems for LA. Yeah, those are. Yeah, it's a cool thing. Encore of Miller for the Rangers. Sizzle of McDavid for the Oilers. And a Young Guns for Nashville of Wood. Sizzle of Makar for the Avs. Compositions of Gensel for the Tampa Bay Lightning. There you go. And a Deluxe of Beecher for Boston. Beecher, Boston. We've got a Canvas for Florida of Reinhardt. Young Guns of Camel for Nashville. And a goal-oriented Stammer for Nashville. Encore of Urson for Philly. Wyatt Johnson for Dallas. And a tracking systems of Demko for Vancouver. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to get that case filled as well. So, hopefully we can rock that one out. And I do have a helper right now until around 6:15. So, if you guys get that filled, we should be able to get that one done quickly. The grading upgrade. Sorry, what's the grading upgrade, just so I know? Oh, you're talking about the Bustle of Knives for the Leafs, the Young Guns of Sillinger for the Jackets, and a Portrait of Lev Shunov for the Hawks. We got a Sizzle Sparkle of Marshman for Dallas, Canvas of Holloway for the Blues, Compositions of Darlene for Buffalo. Talking about the 2-day one. Encore of Gustafson for Minnesota. Tracking Systems of Ottinger for Dallas. Koivunen for the Penguins, Young Guns. You do the 1 month and it goes to 2 days? Is that what you're talking about, Kevin? If so, yes. Sizzle of Luukkonen for Buffalo. Cagnoni for San Jose Young Guns. Goal-oriented for the Rangers of Panarin. But today is the last day for that one because we dropped them off. Hyman Outburst Silver for the Oilers. Silver McCann for Seattle. And a Cup Quest Yossi for Nashville. Canvas of Verhaeghe for Panthers. We got a Tampa Bay Young Guns of Duke. And a Portrait of Holloway for the Blues. Dazzlers of Kyle Connor for the Jets. Canvas of Harley for the Stars. Compositions of Larkin for the Red Wings. Encore of Heischer for the Devils. Portrait Sparkle of Eklund for the Sharks. And a Bustle of Kadri for Calgary. Encore of Morrissey for the Jets. Tracking Systems for Nashville of Saros. Young Guns for Boston of Callahan. We got a Tracking Systems number to 199 for Anaheim of Dostal. Bustle of Leo Carlson for Anaheim. And a Cup Quest for the Winnipeg Jets of Kyle Connor. We got a Canvas for Carolina of Slavin. Young Guns for Seattle of Melanson. And a Portraits for the Red Wings of Cider. Clear Cut Base for the Dallas Stars of Robertson. Encore for Ottawa of Stützle. And a Sizzle of Markstrom for the Devils. So the SSP cards are labeled on the back. I'm well aware of that. In terms of the 2 packs, I will tell you, Floor. Generally, that is true, but it also is. We had a couple people in our store, for example, today, and we had a couple yesterday that opened a 2-card pack followed by a 4-card insert pack. So I agree with you. That's why whenever we get 2, I generally look through it very quickly. But there have been some that we have seen customers open. Bustle of Jarvis for Carolina. Mazur for the Red Wings Young Guns. And a Cup Quest of Hopkins for the Oilers. So, just so you know. We got a Compadres Sparkle for Colorado. Canvas of Kucherov for Tampa. And a Matthews Portraits for the Maple Leafs. Encore of Kempe for LA. We got a Compadres for the Avalanche. And a Moore Young Guns for Chicago. We got a Sizzle of Evangelista for the Preds. Weisblatt for the Nashville Predators Young Guns. And a Cup Quest of Eklund for the Sharks. Outburst Silver for the Rangers of Carrick. Sizzle of Marshman for Dallas. Goal-oriented of Bratt for the Devils. Dazzlers for Montreal of Hudson. Canvas for the Rangers of Shesterkin. And a Portraits for the Rangers of Perreault. Canvas of Huberdeau for Florida. Calgary. We got a Young Guns of Robertson for the Rangers. And a Compositions of Ovechkin for the Caps. Encore Troy Terry for the Ducks. Cup Quest Sparkle for the Hawks of Bedard. And a Holloway for the Blues Bustle. Encore of Urson for Philly. Tracking Systems Merzlikins for the Jackets. And for the San Jose Sharks, Lund Young Guns. Oh, no, for sure. I agree, Floor. Always double check. That is sexy. A population count 1,000 Demidov. Demidov for Montreal. Very nice Montreal hit. Bustle of Cider for the Red Wings. And a Crosby for the Penguins compositions. It is funny though, Floor. Actually, I'll do it after these two packs, I'll tell you. Young Guns Canvas for Carolina of Suzuki. Young Guns for the Blues of Snuggerud. And a goal-oriented of Crosby for the Penguins. We got a black and white canvas for the Oilers of Ekholm. Encore Fuse for Vancouver. And a Bouchard for the Oilers Sizzle. What I was going to say, it's funny though that when there is a genuine 2-card pack, people lose their minds. But if there's a 4-card pack, it's like, you know, it happens. It's like all of this is done by machine, except for Cup. There is absolutely 100% going to be times that the machine's going to mess up on the good or the bad. Literally, I could point out probably 500 times that we've opened packs where we've been missing tons of cards, or we got double the hits. Sizzle for the Penguins of Crosby. Quillen for the Maple Leafs Young Guns. Cup Quest Kaprizov for Minnesota. We got a Bustle Sparkle for the Leafs of Knies. Canvas for the Rangers of Keandre Miller. And a Portraits Ovechkin for the Caps. Encore Bouchard for the Oilers. Tracking Systems for the Maple Leafs of Wool. And a Young Guns of Demidov for Montreal. Demidov. Very nice. We've got a Compadres for Montreal. Sillinger Young Guns for the Jackets. And a Dvorsky Portraits for the Blues. Also, I feel like we've left all the Young Gun canvases. We got a Murphy Outburst Silver for Chicago. A Bustle of Kane for the Oilers. And a Compositions of Suzuki for Montreal. I think we've only had 1 out of the 6, so. Dazzlers Montreal Caulfield. Zellweger for Anaheim Canvas. Compositions of Hughes for the Devils. Encore Bennington for the Blues. Sizzle of Joshua for Canucks. And a Duke Young Guns for Tampa. Canvas of Doughty for LA. We got a Tolo Pilo for Vancouver Young Guns. Goal-oriented of Kucherov for Tampa. Encore of Stone for Vegas. Portrait Sparkle of Draisaitl for the Oilers. And a Vasilevsky for Tampa Tracking Systems. Deluxe for the Buffalo Sabres. Peterka. Sizzle, number 250. Of Carlson for Anaheim. And a Cup Quest of DeBrincat for the Red Wings. Canvas Young Guns for the Tampa Bay Lightning of Finley. Young Guns of Sabrango for Ottawa. And a Portraits of Zuccarello for Minnesota. We got an Encore Blue of Hughes for Vancouver. Ovechkin Encore for Washington. And a Markstrom Tracking Systems for the Devils. There she goes.